Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Carl. I am your host, Carl Zoellner, one of the attorneys here with Anderson Business Advisors. And today I want to do the first part of a small series I'm going to do, what to expect in your first year with your business entities and sort of moving forward. One question that comes up quite a bit is, okay, so we've now gone through and broken down the cost of starting up an entity. What does it look like to maintain an entity? So first thing I want to chat about is your registered agent. So registered agent service is with us, with Anderson, is an annual charge. So it's once a year per entity. And then what purpose of the registered agent bears to mention is that registered agent is intended to accept service of process. So if something happens in your business and you get sued, your registered agent is the one that receives notice of the lawsuit. Now, there's a few reasons you don't want to be your own registered agent, not the least of which is if you are your own registered agent, it's usually a pretty straight line on who owns that entity. So if you're looking for that level of anonymity, your registered agent address and contact information is displayed directly on the Secretary of State website for everybody to see. So if anonymity is your focus, don't be your own registered agent. Number two is there's requirements to be a registered agent, such as address in the state the business is registered in. You have to keep normal business hours. So you have that place and person has to be available at those times so they can be served. And also you need to be over the age of 18 in most places. So that one's usually not that big of a deal because most people who are setting up businesses tend to be the age of majority, but just so you know there. So your registered agent service is something you should consider on what the annual, on an annual basis for your annual renewal. So you can figure that into the number that's going to cost to maintain an entity. Overall, what we look at is most places, most states, it's more expensive to set up the entity than it is to maintain it. Great example of that is my home state of Texas. Costs $308 to set up a business entity, actually costs $0 to maintain it with the state, unless you're going to have somebody do your franchise reporting. So most folks won't be subjected to the franchise tax in Texas because it's a pretty high amount before you have any sort of additional tax to pay. However, there is a reporting requirement. So like I said, registered agent is one of those items we'll consider on the annual basis because it renews annually. So yeah, that's one thing you got to consider when you're running the numbers to make sure it's the right investment for you and make sure you're budgeting that into your annual expense. So until next time, my name is Carl Zoellner. Like I said, thank you for joining me with another episode of Coffee with Carl. If you do like this content, I would encourage you and request you subscribe and like so we can still make sense for us to keep doing these. So until next time, like I said, thanks for joining me. Please keep taking advantage of all of our free content, like and subscribe to all of our channels, and we will catch you on the next episode. Thanks, everyone.